welcome. We haven't been together in a while on a regular routine. We've been together for lots of other things, but now we're coming back for 5 solid weeks of Tuesday learning. And I told you guys on the video, I'm even missing a wedding in New York because I didn't want to miss this class. But it's very important to me, and I hope you'll also feel committed to coming, because we're about to delve into a new topic, which is all part of the same topic. It's just taking what we've been learning for over a year together and taking it up a notch. So for those people that are new, what I'm just gonna, did I bring that book? Oh, yes, here. Yes, thank you. Stand up. Wow. And we're gonna learn in Sue's father's merit, and his name, Shmuel Mendel, the son of, do you know his, oh, the son of Sophie. His mom was Sophie. Okay, beautiful. Well, his soul should be elevated in heaven through you, which you're always doing good things, and through all of us. That's so nice. Thank you. It's a good way to set the tone. Like, now we really need to take this hour seriously. Yes. Okay, so yes. I'm gonna need this. In a high school, and there's 32 girls, except they're all so chit chatty. So it's like all of this, but everyone, and yeah, so this is like a brief. I said, I don't think I could do this. How on earth? I think I need a microphone. And she's like, no, you just need to find your teacher's voice. So I've been like trying to, I think we're good. I think we're good without a mic. So we have been working through this incredible text of Alan Marinas. It's called Everyday Holiness. We've been doing it not consistently, not reading from it, but I've been basing a lot of the lessons on these very contemporary teachings of Musar. Musar is a movement that started over 1,000 years ago, which is to perfect and to tweak and to work on your character traits. So some of the traits that we have been delving into are the traits of humility, patience, gratitude, compassion, order, honor, simplicity, enthusiasm, silence, generosity, truth, moderation, loving kindness, responsibility, trust, and faith. Okay, now I don't know if maybe some of you missed some of them, but that is basically what we have been working through all year, with a lot of other things thrown into the mix, and a special month for before the high holidays, when we spoke about figuring out what our unique mission is and how to tap into that, and lots of good stuff. So now I'd like to, and we're not finished the book, so I'm going to put this on my shelf at home for the next 5 weeks, and I'm probably going to come back to it to take it deeper, because there's a lot more about Musar that we haven't gotten to. So if you have this book at home, just shelf it for now, or you could use it hand in hand with the teachings that we're going to be doing. So what we're going to be doing now, being that we're timely, like the perfect timing, with the beginning of the Torah that just started this past Shabbat, the book of Genesis, and we're starting with all the stories. Thank you. I'd actually pour some for you. Anybody else help you? We're actually starting with all the stories from the very beginning. This past week, we learned the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Thank you so much. Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam, holy yivaro. Amen. Okay. So how this is going to work, so whether you come once a week only on Tuesdays, which it seems like there are some Tuesday only people here, or if you come Tuesdays and Saturdays, the lessons will not overlap. Like we're not going to be learning the same thing, but we're going to try to, like, meaning if you come twice a week, you'll get so much more because you're going to get the storyline from the source, from in the Torah. And then we're going to be talking about traits of the matriarchs in the next 5 weeks. Now, just raise your hands. Who are the matriarchs? There are 4. Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Okay, those are the 4 matriarchs. But we could go further. Those are the 4, because there's 3 forefathers and 4 foremothers. Those are, the 7 that we know that kind of paved the way or created the infrastructure for the Jewish people to follow. Then we have like the 12 tribes and the story in Egypt with Miriam. We have all the prophetesses, and we could literally keep going throughout history, connecting and pulling on the traits of the Jewish women. And there is so much to learn and to glean from the Jewish women from the very beginning until today, like until modern day heroines. And I mean, there has never been a time in Jewish history that the women have not been leading the people. Now, it doesn't seem like this. And I have to tell you, so do you guys remember we had a great class here on Saturday when we spoke about Adam and Eve and how God created the original man as a he, she, right? He had all female and male traits in one. He was an androgynous being, right? For some people, that was totally, totally new. And we spoke about, like, we got into some nice conversation about that. It blows the mind that even from the very, very beginning, every single person is created with with masculine and feminine traits. We all have that, right? Which totally could open so many great conversations of understanding so much of what's going on today. So my son, who was in the services, he walked out, I guess, to go to the bathroom or to get a drink. And he literally was like, "Mom, like, what are you doing with your ladies?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he said to me, it's like, what did he say? He said, I'm like the opposite of being sexist. Like, meaning a lot of people are very sexist about women, like putting women in a corner that we have to be like barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. Like, that's what we need. That's what we're here for. And he said, it's almost like you're sexist about men. Like, you're just so sexist. This is my 15-year-old son. He's like, I am not, like, and I wouldn't call myself a feminist, but I think being the person that I am and being an Orthodox Jewish woman who literally goes out every single day into the world, mostly with non-Orthodox people, I feel like I've always had to fight the fight of fighting against the misconceptions about what the Torah, what God says a Jewish woman is. Because there's so many people, and there are very righteous looking people that might be misguided. And I've been fighting this fight for a very long time. So I try to explain that to my son. Like, it's almost like I'm always like going to war in this topic. But when you see things in the Torah and it sheds light and there's clarity there in what we're here to do, it's not better, it's not worse. It's just, let's glean the strength, the power, let's harness that on ourselves. And that's what I want to do in the next 5 weeks. So we could literally take all the forefathers. I guess I'm sexist. We're going to focus on the foremothers, and then we'll see how much more we could get to, because there are about 20, 30 amazing biblical women that we could learn from that have not had easy paths. All another thing that we find about Jewish women is that we find that let's find the page. Okay, here we go. I have it in mind. I brought mine from home. It's 343. So check on 343. It is Seder Leil Shabbat. Okay. In the brown, okay? Okay. It's home. It is a very poetic, beautiful. It's a, it's a, okay. It goes from olive till tough till the very end. There's 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. Okay, first of all, just raise your hand if you know the Aisha sign. Now keep your hand up. No, none of you. Okay. Jennifer? No. Oh, Sana. Okay, so far I'm ready to play your role. Okay, so my question to you Like, like. Word. I'll tell you guys some other words that I found. So there's the soldier, there's strength, chayal, strong, wealth, skill, competence, devoutness, like holiness. Okay, those are all ways that you could understand Eshet Chayil. But the number one way, the way that it's written as translation in this Sidur, is an accomplished woman. An accomplished woman, and then the next few words often he'll say, like, could you make me a song? Like, Ishahayo, like, I did stuff this week. You're off, like, partying with your friends or whatever it is. So Gadi and I are not a very typical traditional, old school couple of, role delegation, and we're not like that. It doesn't work for us, and that's okay. I know Liz is like, woohoo. That's okay, because actually when you look at this beautiful song that was written thousands of years ago, you start to realize that maybe our ideas of what a woman is completely skewed. Because in this song, we learned that not only was she holding down the fort and she was the most amazing homemaker and she was there for her loved ones, but she was also cutting deals and out there and doing all these crazy things. So let's just read it. If we could read it, does anyone want to read in English? We have a loud voice here. Liz. Oh, we're on, okay. Fine. Marion, her value. Align on her and you take her as part of life. Invigorates her arms. Spreads out her palm to the floor and extends her hands to the depth. Her house. Scarlet, luxurious bedspread, linen and purple wool. Her husband. Waits the last day. She opens her mouth with wisdom and the last kindness. Her takes not of the bread of greatness. Her children are wise and praise her. Many waters the master. Also grace of God. Okay, nice. Who likes that? Who thinks this is trend setting? Okay, for its time. What other culture upheld women to sing praises like? Yes.
singing the songs of praises to you.
That's really true. Well, it's funny that you say that because I'll tell you. So I do teach in this girls' high school. I'm not going to mention names, whatever school it is. And I'm actually teaching. It's called, I can't remember what the course is called. Torah's Habayis, how to be a Jewish woman, the Torah of a Jewish home. So I got the curriculum. And you have to, I mean, the curriculum, Torah, I love. I never need to be apologetic for what the Torah says, but I need to interpret it and understand it in a way that I could really appreciate it. So sometimes it takes a little bit of working and tweaking. So the curriculum was written by a woman who is so different to me and how she's a Jewish woman. So some of the stories and some of the curriculum that she created, I am not going to be teaching because I actually don't believe that that is the model that Jewish women need to work by, right? And there's 70 ways of understanding the Torah. That's what the Torah tells us. So for example, in my class, I said, we were talking about the Parsha last week. We were talking about Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. And for some of you that were here on Saturday, we spoke about why was woman created, right? Did anyone watch the video that I made, right? It says that she was created to be a helper, which makes us feel nauseous. I mean, literally, Gloria Steinman would have a heart attack right here. Like, thank you. I think we could do more than be the helper. Like, here, I'll assist you. I'll hold that. So the answer is that this helper, right, has something of superiority that the person that needs does not have. And we spoke about the different ideas, like a doctor and a patient, a teacher and a student, a parent and a child. Who's helping who? The one that has something of value to give is the helper, and God himself calls himself the king who helps, Melech Ozer, the same word that woman is called upon. So we can't always take words at face value. We need to kind of ask some questions and see the context and go a little deeper. So I did ask the girls, this was kind of funny. There's like, you could, out of the mouth of babes, you get like the funniest things. So I said, well, what are women here for? What are men here for? And I said, what are men here for? And this one girl, she clearly had like a long vacation over Sukkot. They had like 3 weeks of vacation. So she was home with all her brothers. And she's like, they're useless. They can't went on for 5 minutes. My brothers can't take care of anything for themselves. It was hysterical. It was, and also because I know her family. So I'm like holding it together. I'm like, really? I mean, they have so much value. So we have to understand, and I'm not trying, and I have to explain better to my son, I'm not bashing men, because we do need men. God put male and female energies into the world. Do you know why? Because we are supposed to emulate God, and God is all masculine, all feminine together. God is not one or the other. So clearly God put both energies here. We're supposed to come together. We're supposed to use these energies, complete each other, because we all have strengths and weaknesses, and it's all good. We're not bashing, we're celebrating. We're celebrating. And I think as women, we could celebrate ourselves, and we could celebrate womanhood and what it means to be a Jewish woman, because our sages, our sources, the Torah tells us that women are upheld. Now, most people out there in the world, if they've watched anything on Netflix about Jewish Orthodox women, they don't feel that way. And they're getting it all wrong. And just because, Julia Hart came out with her story that was so detrimental to the world of all Orthodox women, her thing was called, what was it called? My Unorthodox Life, right? I do not suggest you watch it, by the way. I couldn't even get through one episode because it was so filled with sheker, with falseness. And actually, as someone that I personally know, people that know Julia Hart, like she was the Torah teacher for many of my peers in Atlanta. So I mean, I have like literally, my friend sent me like pictures of her, like, how could it be that she's saying these things? Everything that she was saying was based on very shaky grounding. And I just felt like that's so not fair. So what we started doing, all of us, thousands and thousands, probably a few 100,000 Orthodox women, is we started our own movement called My Orthodox Life. No one is forcing me to take these laws on. We are choosing, we're stepping in because we value being part of this tradition, and we're holding on to something that our great-great-grandmothers were a part of. And that's what it's all about. And I think everyone here is a link in the chain, wherever we fall on the spectrum of Judaism, we're all Jewish women. It doesn't make a difference where we see ourselves. A Jewish woman is a Jewish woman. There's one Torah, one God, one Jewish people. Like, we're all part of the same thing that goes back to Sarah, to the first Jewish woman. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Okay, so Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, the four matriarchs. We're going to delve into each one. We're gonna talk about their stories, their struggles. We're gonna learn it in the book on Saturdays. And over here, we're just gonna talk about their traits. Because when I read the list of traits that we were learning together, patience, gratitude, generosity, all of these things, we could kind of find them in the matriarchs. Because let's say, for example, the one patient, okay? How old was Sarah when she gave birth to her first child? 90 years old, okay? Talk about patience, talk about faith, talk about rising up, talk about knowing that you have something to contribute and not putting that dream down until it was finalized, right? We could see, and now, does anyone know what the one main trait that we learn about Sarah is? Hannah, you for sure know, but like, if we could, does anyone know what Sarah was all about? Something about Sarah? Well, Sarah is one of that are written about the most beautiful life. The beautiful. She was kidnapped. She was, boxed to she went through because of her physical beauty. But one trait that we keep seeing again and again is how humble and modest she is. In fact, and modesty and humility, that's one of the three traits of a Jew. And this is something that we've spoken about. This is, let me just try to think. Our sages tell us that there are three main traits that a Jewish person has to have. And if they don't have it, you have to question if they're actually Jewish. It's pretty strong. It's Baishanim is modest and humble. Rachmanim is compassionate. V'gomlei chasadim, that we want to do kindness for others. Not only compassionate, but meaning you could be compassionate, but then gomlei chasadim means you go out of your way. You want to change the world. That is one of the traits of a Jew. Tikkun olam. If we see something, we want to fix it, right? So that first trait, the humble and modest, we learn from Sarah. And I don't even know if Abraham knew what a gen he had, because in the story, do you know that? Okay, so I'm going to tell some stories, some Torah stories. So Abraham, at an elderly age, has his brit milah. He has his circumcision. He is sick. He is weak. He's in pain, right? And an elderly age to have such a wow is right. Okay. And he is sitting at home trying to heal, but his heart wants to do what? Kindness. He couldn't even sit down and rest. He was like looking out the tent to find some strangers that are walking in the distance. Now, it was a very hot day because God made the sun extra strong that day so he could actually rest. Like Abraham, no one in their right mind is wandering through the desert on during a heat wave. Okay. But Abraham needed, his whole essence was to go out and to do kindness for others. So God finally says, I'm going to take this guy out of his misery. I'll create 3 angels that look like men, and he'll be able to finally do his kindness and go rest. So that's what happens. So these 3 angels that are dressed as Arab travelers come to Abraham's tent, and he's overjoyed, and him and Sarah are running around preparing their shechting animals. That every guest got a whole tongue. It wasn't good enough to give them from the same animal. They had to have the delicacies. And what does he say, Abraham? He says, just wait here. I'm going to just bring you a little bread and a little water. And that's another thing that we learn. to say a little and do a lot. That's how they operated in their acts of kindness. And he brings them a whole delicious meal. Now, Abraham is serving the meal, and these three angels, they ask Abraham a question. They say, and I'll read it to you inside. Aye. Now, they're angels. Chances are they know everything, right? Why are they asking? Is it even appropriate? Like, where is that hot wife of yours? Like, is it even, I mean, she was beautiful. Or is it appropriate that these travelers are saying, and where is your wife? So the reason that they asked it was to bring endearment to Abraham's heart, because Abraham answers and he says, Hine ba'ohel. Behold, she is in the tent. She is behind the scenes. She doesn't have to be in the action. She prepared this all for you, but she's busy with other things. She's in her tent. She's doing her thing. She doesn't always have to be out there. And the reason that the angels even asked the question was to make Abraham kind of understand what a rare gem he had. That this woman was such a doer, such a giver, but she didn't need to be getting all the attention. She didn't need all the validation. She didn't need I don't know, like think about our generation today. If you don't get all the likes and all the validation, I mean, let's go to teenagers. Some of you have teenage daughters and sons. There, I don't even know what the latest trending Instagram, it's not even Instagram, Snapchat or whatever. And if no one likes it, they will go into a depression. They will take down their image that they posted because they're so insecure that there's something wrong with them. Like, how come no one's liking it, right? Because our generation has become obsessed with getting validation from other people. It's almost like the religion is getting validation. You do something nice for someone else, you need to share it with the world. You can't even do something quietly anymore because that is what the whole culture has taught us. You wear it on your sleeve. Sarah was the complete opposite. Hine ba'ohel. She's totally fine. She's doing her thing. And Sarah is she is the paradigm of modesty and humility. Okay, and that's just one of the many, many examples. Okay, and another quote this is from the book of Songs that actually refers to Sarah, is Kol Kavuda Bat Melech Penima, that the honor, the dignity of a woman is hidden, it's inner. And something mind-boggling that I learned from a great rabbi, Rabbi Shimshon David Pincus, whom my son is named after, Shimshi. So Rabbi Pincus says that you could never measure the greatness of a woman. You can never measure it. It's not measurable, because the greatness of a woman, so much of what a woman is all about is within her. It's her thoughts, it's her prayers, it's her intentions. And it's the things that no one sees. It's the waking up in the middle of the night, as the Isha Chayil says, right? To take care of a sick child, to worry about a sick child, to worry about a sick friend, right? There's so much about a woman that and a lot of us have husbands in Israel. Sharon does, Gail does, Angie does. Anyone else? Shala does. All of our husbands are traveling in Israel. And I don't know if you guys got, like, if you spoke to them for more than 3 seconds, but I have not, which is good. You know, no news is good news. Have a great time. But when my husband travels and like we have something going on with a kid or whatever, like I'll say to him sometimes like, oh my gosh, like, how did you travel? Like, weren't you so worried all day? And he'll be like, you know, and my husband's a very kind, sensitive person, as are all of our husbands, but they're able to disconnect more than we're able to disconnect. So true. Like literally, I'm like, hi, like just in case you miss us, let me tell you, like I left him a voice note saying, I took Shua to the doctor for his headaches, and I just got off the phone with Yossi's teacher, and he's a little concerned about this. I'm like, just I know you want to know all these things. Like static silence. Like he's literally dancing on top of a bar. You saw the pictures. Like perfect. I know. It's more for us that we're like, and Yeah, okay. Anyways, we all get it. But there's something with a woman, we hold so much, we hold emotion, we hold connections so much more than a male is capable of. Okay. And it's not better or worse, once again, it's just different. We are communication people, we're people, we're all about our connections. And that's actually why when you look at the mitzvot of men and women, they are slightly different. There's a lot that overlap, but some are slightly different. Why are men commanded, so to speak, to pray with a quorum of men 3 times a day? Women are not. Does anyone know? Okay, but I'm saying why? Okay, so that's there's a lot to say there, Deborah. Deborah's saying that if they weren't commanded to get together with a quorum of men, with 10 men, they would never do it because they're not all about community, right? They're not all about coming together. Women, I mean, there are 50, 60 women in this room, right? I don't know how many people are here, but we love coming together. And it's just to get you guys to stop talking, to get started is like, hello, like we love schmoozing, we love connecting. That's who we are. So, okay, so that's, Julie, I'm gonna take that now, actually. Just to finish some of this Isha Skyle, because we're not going to be going through the actual text when we go into each matriarch. So I want to just highlight a few incredible lines. One of them is V'tischak liyom acharon, which means she joyfully awaits the last day. Okay, and what the commentary here says is she awaits the inevitable last day of life with confidence that she will have earned respect and honor. So what does that speak to you? What trait are you hearing over there? How does that feel? We just came out of Yom Kippur a couple weeks ago where we didn't know what the fate held for us on the other side of Yom Kippur, if God was going to grant us another year. But a person that has a lot of faith is kind of serene and okay with themselves. And in that, there's a joy. There is a joy to that. And just knowing I'm doing the best that I can with the tools that I have. There's this serenity and joy that she doesn't mind. If today is my last day, I'm good. I'm good with God. I'm good with myself. And that is one of the beautiful things that we speak about. Like someone that's doing what they need to do at every given moment, whether it's hard or easy or struggles or whatever, it doesn't matter, but you're always trying, putting in the right effort. There is a certain joy in that. Okay, so that bitachon and emuna are faith and trust. And that is definitely something that we see over here. I knew everyone was going to chuckle when we said the line for Kamu Baneha V'yasruha, her children arise and praise her. I had a feeling people would chuckle because, we tried that, right, Laura? Like when we came back from Israel, we're like, you guys are all we tried. I mean, Chaya does it, right? We were at a home in Jerusalem where all the kids gave praise and thanks to their parents, like one after another. And all the ladies were like, no, they were not being paid. And it was so, right? Arnie, seriously, it was unbelievable. And then we all came home and we're like, we're going to implement some change into our lives. Yeah, how did that go? Not so well. But that's like literally written by Abraham to Sarah that that's the paradigm that a woman should be praised and applauded by the people around her. I know we have work to do. We're not there yet, but I think we're all on the right path. Yes. I agree. Okay, so hold out a little longer. Yeah. Right. So I have a mentor. I speak to her every week, sometimes numerous times, depending on what's going on in my life. I was struggling with one of my children, And my mentor said, just let it go for now. And if you do, maybe in 10 years, you will have a good relationship with that child. So, and it's so painful because I'm the person that wants to fix it and like, you know, put a bow on it right away. And she just said, if you want to have a relationship in 10 years, now you need to like be in pain with it. And that just step back. But I'm hoping, I'm holding out, Goldie. So I love that. There are many lines in here that I absolutely love. And this is a song that we do sing in our house every week. We sing it in Hebrew, so I'm not always like thinking of all the translations and what every word means. But when Liz read it, and she read it so beautifully, that we see that she is such a giving person. She's such a hardworking person. She's bringing her sustenance from afar, like a merchant ship. I mean, she's clearly a worldly person. She's out there. She's managing many people, like her maidens, and you know, she's a visionary. She's envisioning a field and buys it, right? Something else that I loved is that she's eating from the fruit of her handiwork. That's also something that we can all think about. We all want to see, let's say, nachas, or we all want to see the fruits of our labor when we do a project. Like there's something so sweet in being able to put in effort and to get something back in return, or to taste like, oh, my work actually was fruitful. Yes, Liz. Oh, okay. Like it's where does that come from? What line is that? None. Okay, distinctly in the council as her husband when he sits with the elders in the lands. How could some of you guys understand that for yourselves? Well, if he is a man of distinction, that makes her a woman of distinction. Okay, but there's lots of, you know, in our Kala classes when we teach a young bride in all the laws of family purity. So we do give a lot of deep teachings that men have a need for honor. Men have a greater sense of ego, and that's the most bruising thing in their relationship. Like if his ego is bruised, it's not going to be so easy to get past that. You need to give honor to a man. I mean, hopefully you could actually honor the man, because it's very hard to fake honor, right? If you don't respect the guy, I mean, chances are, we also tell the brides, don't marry someone that you cannot respect. Okay, so I think over here, like the distinctive in the councils is her husband. He's sitting with the elders of the land. Like he's a person of distinction that makes her like a queen. Maybe it's because of her. So there's a funny story. A woman that's in the car with her husband, who is the mayor, and the mayor of the town, and they pull up at a gas station, and this attendant is filling up their car with gas. In some places, like in Portland, they fill up your car. You're not allowed to. Yeah, that's like the one thing I miss from Portland. So in the winter especially, but this attendant is filling up the car with gas, and the woman turns to her husband and says, you know, I nearly married that guy. And her husband says, well, it's a good thing you married the mayor. So she says, yeah, but if I married him, he would have been the mayor. Perfect. It's spot on, right? It's great. So because we and that's something that we do. That's the hidden power that you can't measure. Like you can measure the distinction of a man that's sitting with the elders, but we all know that behind every great man, there is a woman, probably many women, probably an amazing mother that built him, probably a supportive wife. And I always say behind every great man, there is, behind every great woman or man, it doesn't matter, because sometimes it changes in our household. But I say there is a very, very large load of laundry. Like mountain, a mountain. Oh my gosh.
Behind every
That is very good. Did you guys hear that? Behind every great man is a very surprised mother-in-law. She said Joe Lieberman said, behind every great man is a very surprised mother-in-law. That's awesome. That's just precious. Okay, so I'm just going to try to tie things up over here. Let's just finish scanning through this text. So she's very handy. She's very She's very talented and capable. She's making things from her hands, wool and linen. She's spinning clothing and luxurious bread spreads, and she's selling things. She's bringing things to peddlers. Okay, so some of the best lines, in my opinion, okay, are coming up. So this is one that is very popular. Oz v'hadar levusha, strength. This is ayin. Okay, strength and majesty are her dress, her levush. She joyfully awaits the last day. We spoke about that. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and a lesson of kindness is on her tongue. Okay, she's just okay. I love this one about she doesn't know of laziness. I mean, clearly not if she's doing all this. She's a great mother. She's raising her kids to praise her. Okay, then this is also such a great line. False is grace and vain is beauty. Okay, false is grace, like physical beauty, and vain is beauty, right? These two things, they're just fleeting, right? Because like we all don't look like we're 20 years old. We're all like, you know, when do we peak in our beauty? A long time ago, Susie said. Okay, but okay, well, Susie, maybe you can help me with this one, because I have a feeling I'm going to pull this out. This is in your head. I know that you know this. Sarah was spoken about to be a beautiful person. And in the Torah, it says when she's 127. Okay, she's 127 years old. But the way it's written in the Torah is when she was 100, it was like she was 20 in her beauty. And when she was 20, it was like she was 7. And when the commentaries have a heyday on this, talking about what is the beauty of a 100-year-old, right? Clearly, it's not physical beauty at that point, but there's something else about the beauty of a 100-year-old: wisdom, grace, being okay with themselves, having so much life experience. Like that is so much more valuable than physical beauty. And you would say a 20-year-old is at the peak of her beauty, right? But actually it says that yes, 20 is a very beautiful age, but do you remember what the commentaries say on this? What do they say about a 7-year-old? Innocence. It's innocence, and it's an honesty, and it's a different type of beauty. It's a purity. It's a purity. They've been untainted by the world, hopefully. At 7 years old, they're just pure. They're excited. Nothing has like, you know, told them that they can't do it. But by 20, you're a little bit more like you've been through stuff, right? So that's how it breaks it down when it talks about her age, 100 like 20 and 20 like 7. And it says the end of that line in the Torah says, and that's how she lived every single day of her life. Every single day, and she had a hard life. As I just said a few of her tests, but there were many tests that she had to endure as a woman, and that's why we uphold her as a role model. Yes.
Is there a comparable text about a man?
No, nothing. Even though my husband wants me to write one. Actually, very rare. What other religions do you even have it about? Like what other religion is having the woman of valor, like the song of praise for only the woman? And especially from so many, you know, thousands of years ago. It's kind of rare. We are trendsetters. And I actually look at Sarah and Abraham as the original influencers. You know, we use that word a lot nowadays. Like everyone is an influencer. Every second person is an influencer, right? You don't have to have any credentials, and you just throw yourself out there in the world and you become an influencer. And a lot of the content is pure garbage, to be honest. They have nothing of value. Not everyone. I'm sure there are great people to follow, but every second person is someone that is like, look at me, I'm an influencer. These were true influencers. What was their main influence on the world? What was their main influence? Chesed was something huge that they were all about. In fact, we know that their home had 4 openings, right? Their tent had 4 openings. Come one, come all. They were all about opening their home to others and doing kindness. Okay, we know that Sarah was like we learn modesty and humility and just her humbleness was a huge trait of Sarah's. But what were they, the influencers of the world about? The leading monotheism. They were the first ones to go out and proclaim that there is one God. And they were doing it in a world that was steeped in idol worship, right? Abraham's father was the head of Idols Are Us. I mean, he ran the corporation. Literally did it. You guys know the story, like the Midrash, that when Abraham is actually working in his father's idol shop, and Abraham he has this epiphany that this is all false. This is ridiculous. So he goes and he takes a hammer and he breaks all the idols except for one. And then he takes the hammer and he puts it in the hands of the one remaining idol. And the father, Terach, comes into the shop and he's going ballistic. Like, this is his livelihood. What happened over here? Who did this? Oh my gosh. And Abraham says, looks like this idol did it. Like, he's holding the hammer. You know, it's like, look over here. And the father, Terach, what does he say? That's ridiculous. You can't do that. He's worthless. He's nothing. And Abraham says, yet your whole focus of life is worshiping these idols that can't do anything for you. And that's when Abraham decides he's coming out of the closet. He is going to get out there, and although it's not going to be popular, he is going to change the world with this crazy idea of one God. And all he has is Sarah by his side. It was hard to be Abraham's wife. And she was an amazing wife. And then this eulogy was definitely, something that she deserved. Okay, so I want to end, but we're gonna that. Oh, here we go. Okay, thank you, Julie, for creating the for printing these, and you can pass them around. And this is on your fridge, or put it somewhere where you'll see it, or on your bathroom mirror. It's a quote. I should have wrote where the quote is from. It's from a book. The author, her name is Rivka Zakutinsky. This book was written 20 years ago, but I have had a little quote like that in my wallet or in my purse for as long as I can remember, because I printed it out and I've actually handed it out to so many people over the decades, because it is so spot on. So I want you to, I'm going to read it, and I'd like to hear if it resonates with you. Here it goes. There is nothing ordinary. We good? Okay. There is nothing ordinary about a Jewish woman, no matter who she is. Regardless of her particular circumstances, she is a potential wellspring of goodness and faith, reflecting all that was given at Sinai. Single, married, divorced, widowed, mothering, praying, working, learning, teaching, building, healing, growing, waiting. Every daughter of Israel is a precious resource of unique creative energy. Each Jewish woman also represents one more possibility to reach the kind of merits needed to illuminate and transform our planet. Isn't that beautiful? So Rivka Zakutinsky, you could write it on the bottom. And I don't remember what book it was from. It's a very old book and an old quote, but I loved it because I think everyone could find themselves in it, right? We're all coming in at a different place, whether right now we're working on our marriage, right now we're working on getting out of our marriage, right now we're working on building our home, or waiting. I love that word, waiting. So many of us are in a transition period, moving on to the next part of our lives. Like, there's so many different chapters. So we can all find ourselves in it and know that we are a precious resource of untapped energy that the world is waiting for. And you're never too old. You know, every time you come, I'm so happy because look, I mean, I don't know if you're 70, 75 years old, it doesn't matter. 21. You know, it's an inspiration that at every single stage, we could still see ourselves, as we always say, as green and growing and not brown and dying. There's still more that your head wants to wrap its head around, and we want to create some change in our own life. Because all of us, please God, out of this world, but we're all going to go upstairs and have a face-to-face. We're going to be greeted by the angels. We're going to have to show who we are and what we did with our lives. And for someone to come up and say, you know, I've had some bumps in the road. We've all had those years or decades. But to say, like, even until the last day of my life, I was growing and trying to become a better person and trying to tap into the unique creative resources and energy that was within me. I think that's a pretty good card to bring up to. Okay, so hold on, everyone. Hold on to this. You know, it might come in handy. Yeah.
Is finding the woman.
Okay, great. I think it's out of print. I think it's. I don't remember. I mean, yeah. Okay, fine. And I'm not recommending the book. I'm just recommending the quote. Okay, this is the quote that I've really like. I've had this with me for a very long time, and I'm gonna wish you guys a beautiful week. And I'm looking forward to the next 4 weeks of going into. I have Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah. I want to speak about Batya, the daughter of Paro, that was a Jew by choice, fabulous individual. Miriam, Hannah, Ruth, Esther, those are the main ones. And then we'll see how much more time we have in the series to go into all the other ones. Like you guys, like, does anyone know about Rachav, the prostitute? I mean, seriously, like there are so many of these women that might have like a bad rap, but when we delve in, we can understand what traits they had and what we can learn from them. Like, there's no judgment here. We're here to learn and to bring some of the sparks into ourselves. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, guys. Oh, Julie. Oh, yes. Okay. So this week, so wait, I just want to say 1 or 2 real quick things. So this week is actually a very exciting week. Wednesday is the new month of Cheshvan. Okay, so we have Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan on Wednesday, maybe Tuesday night, Wednesday, I can't remember when it starts. Whoever signed up for that event, it is a sold out event. Thank God, 45 spots were sold out, and we didn't anticipate for more, but we're game for next time. But the next night is an event for all men and women. It is a free event. It is here at the center. We have David Sussman, who is a fabulous tour guide in Israel, coming to share his story. He was a lone soldier in Israel, and he fought during the Gaza war. And he shares his firsthand story of how his life was saved and his experience during the war. This Thursday night for men, women, if you have teens, you could bring your teen. I mean, he's such a fabulous human being. It's at 7:30. Julie, is it 7:30? 7:30 here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that event, the event on Thursday night, is sponsored by is it Michael somebody it's a lone Michael Levine Lone Soldier Foundation. So it's a fundraiser for the Lone Soldier Foundation. No one is obligated to give a donation. We're just offering our space and offering it to all of our people to come join, because it's very much in line with how we believe we support Israel.
I was going to say, my friend was a lone soldier that was killed, and his parents started the foundation.
Right. Are they from Chicago?
No.
Okay. Hi. Wow.
And
So good to see you guys.
I had the pleasure of meeting.
Oh, wow. So maybe you'll come on Thursday if you feel up to it, Hannah. Maybe you'll come on Thursday. Oh, okay, fine. Okay. Yay. Oh, amazing. So we'll see you guys hopefully soon. So good to see you. Oh, do you want to?
No, I don't mind. It just seems like I thought maybe you would have just because they're so glad that he doesn't hold out of their contract. And I I was praying on every Jew that's involved with him, every business deal, every circle that he's in.
You know what I heard? One has 18 million followers on social media. That's more.
Here, I just got the shiver.
I know.
Down my leg.
I know. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if we don't talk about it, it's getting in power. We have to it's kind of That's what I would really like to. So what they're doing is, I guess Jessica Seinfeld said, like, some photo there, and everyone's like copying and pasting it, not saying much more, and it's very basic. Stand by the Jewish people.
Right. I've seen that, and I just saw this one. I was thinking of,
So don't you think it's
like, I am a Jew, I take a faith, I have a faith, that's what things they persist, I insist.
I take
No, I'll send it to you. Me too, yeah, sure.
I feel like we need a program on it. Like, it's like me too.
Should I put it on one of our chats?
Sure.
Which one?
I don't know, women in wisdom, I guess, are next people.
Okay. Okay, you asked Julie.
I am.
Yeah, she'll get you on. Oh, okay, did you get it?
No.
No, I have to go here.
If it's too
No,
hard.
no, no, I got it and I have it here.
I
My
wanna
husband-
repay you. I can't stand that.
It was like $50. I have the receipt. I have it on me. But I have to find it first. But it's here. Could you give me till next week? My husband's out of town and he put it somewhere for me.
Yeah, that's fine. I was gonna say, maybe, yes, and I'll be, here Thursday. I'd love to see that.
Okay, great, great. So maybe by Thursday I'll find
But
it.
if you don't,
No, 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 it's here, it's here. I bought it for you, so it's here. I'm very grateful. Or, no, it's, oh, yeah, it is actually. Hold on.